What's going on?
I'm good. It's so good to
Chilling.
see
It's good to
you.
see you as
It's
well.
been like years.
It's been a long time. So the non-conversations, non meaning now over never.
Oh, you picked the right season of life.
Yeah.
Now over never.
Now over never. We always tell people now or never is leaving you too many options. Now over never. So I'm choosing now versus never.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Do you have enough time?
Let's go.
No.
Let's go. Look. We can do a part 2 and 3.
No.
We can do a series. But
This is amazing.
yeah,
Okay,
so
congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, the goal is to inspire people, people that are wanting to start something, people
Okay.
that are wanting to pick back up where they left off with something, people who are crippled by fear, past insecurities, things like that. And so all the things that we all experience in different ways. The goal is to hopefully, just like I said, sit down with people that I know, sit down and let's talk about things that we've done, that we're doing.
Yeah.
And there's no purpose, I can give you any questions or anything like that, so wherever this goes, it goes.
I know. I'm looking forward to it, but I don't know why I'm nervous all of a sudden.
This is what you're on the other side. You're on the other side.
I
You're on the other
know.
side. So let's start with that.
Yeah.
Because obviously people who don't know you
Yeah.
are looking at this and probably like, who is this? Why is she nervous? Well, she's nervous because this is what she does regularly. So now, it's no longer fun when the rabbit got the gun. So
I know.
yeah. So tell me, who is Nicci Roach?
Oh gosh, Nicci Roach is a student.
Mm.
Nicci Roach is a servant.
Okay.
Nicci Roach is a forever learner. But Nicci Roach is also curious. I am realizing the need for that curiosity in a whole different way.
Okay.
So when you said now over never, that is like we were joking just a moment ago, but very serious about that in regards to understanding that Nicci Roach needs to be about now. A lot of things have been false starts or me flirting with the idea of things or having great ideas about things. And God has been good to show me favor.
Yeah.
I'll even say favor, not just blessings, but favor in those things.
Yeah.
But my inconsistency, to be transparent, has caused me to now look at this whole, I'm using your language, the now over never.
Yeah.
And we'll get deeper into that, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
So those things that he has opened up for me, being a special assistant to a president of a research institution is the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Then radio, been doing radio for 10 plus years with a number of different stations. Okay. Right now with KSTL 690 AM, but it also has morphed into or soon to be a podcast. Segment of Conversations in the Nick of Time. I'm your host, Nicci Roach, and as always, it's a joy, an absolute joy to be with you. And I thank you for lending me your ear. So we're going to try our hand at that and switch over. And not realizing, all the benefits from that. A lot of times we think, oh, I just have my small following, or does anybody really listen to this? We don't need to worry about that. The thing is, if you've been called to do it, do it.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm learning to just do it. Because let me not jump ahead. In regards to, wanting everything right now in order to launch. It'll never happen. And then I don't feel as if I'm ready. Your feelings will never catch up with what you've been called to do. So if you're waiting to feel like it, it'll never happen. It won't.
Yeah.
So radio nonprofit that just launched, and one was with the first one, Mosaic Ceiling, was with your aunt Lori.
Yes,
Such a sweetheart, I know.
Such a
And
phenomenal
we had so much success, and that actually was paused when COVID hit. You know, where we would have over 200 women show up for an all-day conference at the Ritz-Carlton. So we do a lot of work with women, specifically, you know, when we niche down women of color. So I still do a lot of that work.
Okay.
Being also a diversity, equity, inclusion, access, and belonging practitioner, that still gives me a lot of traction in travel.
Yeah.
Because I do a lot of consulting.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is just advising or coming in to hear what the plan is and where the barriers are, and to help companies walk through those barriers.
Yeah.
So God has allowed, as I've learned, you know, He's not going to give you the money. Like if you say, oh, I need $10,000 just to execute. No, He gives you the skill set to make the money. So we already have what we need to make things happen. It's just a matter of trusting what He's given us already. And so with that, I have waffled in that back and forth so much so that some things have not moved. And so now is the now for me on a number of these things. But then I also took time to niche down and where I literally listed out everything I'm a part of. And I've gone through, I'm like, what can be scratched off?
Yeah.
And what can be moved over? And so some people are like, well, no, but you know, these are good things. It's all good because God has given it. It's all good, but it may not be great for this season.
Yeah.
And so for me, understanding the difference between that good and great and understanding seasons, some things it's time to put to rest. It's time to put the sun is ready to set on those things, but I've been holding on too long.
Yeah.
And so many of us will sometimes get caught up in this whole idea and this concept of celebrating those past experiences and those past wins. Well, to me, that's a shallow victory.
Yeah.
When you should be good at it. You've been doing it for 15 years.
Wow.
But we can paralyze ourselves in that because we are afraid. That's back to that fear of moving forward. Why? Because this work, ego is real.
Yeah.
I don't care how humble you think you are. Ego is real.
Yeah.
So so with all of that, you know, a lot being said, you know, was able to niche it down to where it's like, you've got all these things, let's let some stuff go. And so now I'm in I'm in this area, this now of releasing some things, but I've learned to release with a and or a but.
Yeah.
Meaning I'm gonna end my time doing this, but I have someone I want to recommend. And that so I can pull somebody else up, especially someone from a marginalized population, someone of Black, you know, someone of color, to bring them up in these spots that God has blessed me with. How can I pull somebody up? And then even work with them if I need to, because somebody had to work with me at some point. So yeah.
All right, so that has been. This is, y'all see why I wanted to talk to her. Look, we just started. There's so much to unpack in what you just said, and so take your shoes off. They can't see it. So one of the things that is kind of like the underlying tone of what I'm trying to accomplish with this.
That you are.
Yeah, that I am accomplishing with this. Yeah. Is you mentioned something about the $10,000, about you know, you pray for it, God's not going to just hand you the $10,000, and the if I can get biblical for a second, the thing that kind of resonates with me as I'm going on this journey is where in the Bible it says He gives seed to the sower. And so I think people see that and sometimes take it out of context, because you have to first be sowing in order to receive seed. So like you praying about
there
wanting
is no
to
harvest.
Yeah, you want to pray about what it is I need, what I want to receive. So just so, and then that's where the faith comes in, that's where the trust comes in. So when you said that, it kind of resonated with me heavy, because that's always top of mind for me while I'm doing this. Is I'll think about things that I need. I'm very much guilty of the wanting everything to be right. My sister is someone who, like, hits me over the head. She's like my, no, just go, just do it, because I want
Literally.
everything to be so right.
But
Yeah.
that's what has held me up. I know I could be and should be, but I'm right where I need to be. But I know I could be further had I got Nicci get out the way. And it's like, and even the stuff I'm learning that I know I can't do, or I can't connect the dots. But my thing is, sometimes it's the doing. It's just showing up. At the end of every show that I've done in, this past, at least the past 5 years, at the very end, I always say, live out success as you define it. Understanding that you have everything, possess everything you need already to be successful, and then success as you define it, not according to the world. So until next time, I want you to go and make time and take time. So it's not even about, first thing we think about is the monetary, the money, the fun.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
It could be the fact that, you know what, I'm trying to do a documentary. Well, Cam has already began to do some of the videos for his shows. Bam. You could be the very one to show me how to edit. I'm just saying, like,
yeah, but it works like that.
It does.
It works like
so
that.
Everything. Stop. We have to stop. We have to stop making it such a deficit. Even though it could be, even though we look at it monetarily, we look at our access, our have as less than, oftentimes, or if I had. Well, really, you do. In most cases, you have it. You just it's God uses other people to bless us, right? And it's kind of all that happens from Genesis to Revelation. It's through people that things are done.
That's good. That's good. I love that.
And it's not the people that we think, right? Because look at Rahab. Rahab, has she not did what she did? The whole lineage, lineage of, even Jesus being, like, all of that would have been.
It would have been nothing.
Through somebody we would have that we frown our nose at today. But it has taught me compassion in a whole different way.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So again, a lot to unpack from that, because what you're saying is it's the message, right? I want to get up and go, right? I want people to understand, like you just mentioned, there's never going to be a right time. There's never going to be a right amount. There's never going to be anything that you have decided. And usually it's based off of something that we've seen. We have a visual that's created by a bunch of different things that we've experienced or we've seen. And then it's also our pride a little bit, our ego, you mentioned a little bit, because we feel like we should, like I can't have nobody see me in my grassroots. And so, I don't want nobody to see me on the chitlin circuit out here, like with my little cameras and my little, but I feel like it's not as powerful if they don't see it, because then they can say, I remember.
But you also can say, I remember. I remember my first live from the radio station. We literally we were at KSTL, me and it was two other people who are doing both amazing things, but they were kind of getting the wind underneath their wings. And we were at the station. We went off the air, so we continued the conversation, because I was doing like these continued conversations after the air. And that's when we were going in. We were in the kitchen, in the break room, with telephone books stacked up to hold a cell phone in place. That's how I started with this new
Thank
yellow
you for
shirt
being
on.
patient with us. We were live on the air talking about...
and I was like, oh my gosh, look how far we've come. Like, now working with a production company on these projects. But I appreciate where we are now. And understand, like one of my things this year that I had prayed for, because I started the year off with a number of, it's called a life positioning plan. So it's a template that I created years ago, and I've stuck to it. And I literally write down things in different categories of life that I give myself a vision to ground my year on. And so this year was about trusting and obeying. So if God called me to show up before these people And he opened the door for that.
Yeah.
Trust that everything else is done. And so I am bringing that up because I had to ask, literally pray, God, help me in my unbelief for myself. For anybody else, what you need, okay, God,
Yeah.
Cam is coming before you, blah, 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 move, we trust and, send what needs to be. But I couldn't do it for myself. I didn't believe that for myself. I didn't think he could move in that way. So it's never like, oh my gosh, you're getting it. No, it's like, I'm getting what what's right for me at the moment, which is true, but also not true. Because I wasn't even giving God space to do the impossible, right? So it's like, we can get stuck in these spaces where we know he's done well, and showed up for us, but won't even take the step. The thing is, it's like he has never failed, right? He's never not come through.
He's never failed.
But he's like, trust me, right?
Yeah. It never looks like, I think that's the thing, it never looks like the new thing. So the faith part.
So we push it to a never.
We push it to a never now. Because I know you got me through these last 5 things.
Which I didn't deserve.
I didn't deserve, right? But the new thing doesn't look anything like the 5. So while I know you can, I'm struggling with the fact that you will, because I can tell you how you moved through that. Yeah. But even then, I didn't know fully until it was complete. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
If he's done it once, like he is, but the thing is, as you read in his word, he is waiting to do that. Yeah. His word promises that, like, even some of this stuff we're praying for, we don't even need to pray for. So I'm learning, because this was something back in the day I had to adjust to, but still in some areas I'm learning there is no separate Nicci Roach from Nicole Roach. There is no separate, like, this secular space that he has me in is no different than the spiritual. Yeah. When I'm in a pulpit or at a women's conference at a church, it is no different if I'm at a corporate place or at a concert or something. Yeah. I am the same being. Yeah. It's still ministry either way I go. Yeah. But you don't even have to say a scripture. You don't have to quote anything. Like, it doesn't have to, you don't have to sing a hymn. Yeah. Just sometimes just showing up is the ministry that God was wanting to work through you. That's it. Because you show up and the atmosphere shifts just because you're there. You've not even said anything yet. Yeah. So it took me a minute. That's good. To really lean into that, because I was in these different worlds. Yeah. And that's being real, like, because at one point radio, I was on the #1 hip hop and R&B station, going out doing that, but then also doing, coming and doing announcements at the church, and so it was a battle. But then I realized, you mature, you grow up, you finally understand. Right. It's okay to be in those spaces. Mm-hmm. Don't you lose who you are in those spaces. Yeah, that's good. So, that's good. Come on, hip hop and R&B. You brought up something else really good there, because I was going to say the trusting part. You mentioned about the trusting. And so I have this T-shirt that I got made sometime last year. And you didn't bring any? No, I'm just kidding. Not for that. Oh, I got some merch for you. Don't worry about it. I got some merch for you. But I had this T-shirt that I got made last year, and I wanted it Proverbs 3:5 at the bottom of the shirt. And so anytime that I wear it somewhere, it's kind of like a shirt I just wear randomly. People always ask me, why not Proverbs 3:5 and 6? Mm-hmm. And so I said, well, for me, this is the part I struggle with. I feel like if I can get past 5, 6 is easy to understand. But trust and lean not is the part I'm always struggling with. So it's really, this T-shirt is my reminder. Listen, I said I was not. I know. Really, I was not going to make you're not gonna make me cry though. Okay. Come on. Because it's real. It's real. It's real. And the thing is, you think at some point, like, okay, I have my bearings, but that's on that level. Because if you're constantly growing in Christ, and you are constantly saying yes to the new assignment, to his will
Yeah.
for the season,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know this territory.
You don't. You don't.
And it's like,
You
oh,
don't.
am I supposed, like, what am I supposed to do, God? Oh my God. So it's a whole different level of trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's different, like we
Yeah.
sat here and we sat in these chairs and we were like, okay, we didn't think about, we just sat down. But why can't
'Cause
we
we
have
know.
that ease? And
Yeah.
that's what I'm like, Lord, help me to have that level of confidence
Yeah.
in what you say you will do.
Yeah. And then the difficult part is the same, the accepting it. Thank you. Thank you. Like, I'm noticing I'm in that uncomfortable spot. And instead of us panicking and going into Lord help me, like you're asking me for something that I've already provided what you're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
If you can like just look through the lens of I notice what's happening. I'm uncomfortable. Things are new. There's a bunch of things I need to learn.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I'm in this space where like there are giants here and I feel like this.
Yes.
I need to recognize that and say thank you. Because this is where that next step starts. I have to see that. If I walk into a room and I feel a giant, like I'm a giant, I walk into a room and I feel like everything's moving. This is my space. Like you said, you're doing something for 15, 20 years. Yeah, it's easy to walk in somewhere.
But that ego, like it feeds that
Yeah,
ego though.
Yes.
But I love where you are.
You see what I'm saying?
I love
Yeah.
but here's the catch that
Yeah.
I had to some years ago, to where I'm like, everything we're asking God, I don't care what your request is. At the end of the day, it's change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Something has to change.
Something has to change. Yeah.
So once my relationship with my ask changed, understanding, I don't care if it's God give me a new job, God send me a maid, God open this door for this new home, God, I'm opening up a business. That's all at the core of it. Change. With change, we do what? We are like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to change. We still trying to do old stuff with new blessings.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can then stop asking God for stuff
asking.
if you don't want to change.
You're content.
Correct. In this study right now of Ruth.
Yeah.
And Ruth is I love it because now I get what my dad used to say. Like when you go back over something as you mature and develop, just personally, but also spiritually, things land different.
Right.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, like we're working our way through a women's Bible study, and so I was sharing with them just this week, actually.
Yeah.
As I was reading, I'm like, understand that we have Naomi, we have Ruth, we have Orpah. Mm-hmm. I said, but Ruth and Orpah being the two daughters, mm-hmm. without going so deep into it, Orpah went back.
Yeah.
Ruth trusted the unknown.
Come on now.
I'm like, every decision we make, we need to ask ourselves, am I operating in the spirit of Orpah to go back to what was, or mm-hmm. am I going to trust God?
Yeah.
Since he's made a way through somebody to go forward into this unknown, even where you're the foreigner, you're the outcast, but still he has the blessings in store, the promise, the faith. She went and got favor with all those people. It ends up, we know the end of that story. So my thinking has changed in regards to when I ask, how am I asking? So Orpah that's that flesh, and then natural man, and Ruth is that spiritual component, but mm-hmm. also the trust factor. So it's like there is no in between.
Yeah.
And once I wrapped my mind around that and understood, mm-hmm. Now being able to communicate that, but I understood it some time ago. Mm-hmm. Things move different, but then I got paralyzed because things were moving. So it's all these phases.
Good. That's good.
Because things were moving. Things were good. God was opening doors. He's still opening the doors. But I'm like flirting with this whole idea. Like, oh, he opened it. Like, let me peek in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you serious? Like, go walk in
Yeah.
there. Like you said earlier,
Yeah.
just
And
do
the fact that
it.
it surprises you. It's surprise. Why is it
Yeah.
surprising you? And
Yeah.
that's weird. I understand. I feel like sometimes he's probably like, what? Like you speak to me every day and acknowledge who I am and what I've done, and then you keep getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's. I don't think for me it's not. It's never a surprise. It's always like, why me?
I don't deserve
I
this.
don't deserve it,
I
and
don't
to
this and
understand that he
this.
doesn't care about any of that. He
Because
doesn't care.
at the end of the day, because it circles back to kingdom, right?
Mm.
Kingdom building and kingdom work, and
Yeah.
that's why I tell people it's not about um being in. I'm like the church. I'm like,
Mhm.
we are the church,
We
not
are
the
the church.
building.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
when we begin to lean back into that,
Yeah.
we can show up differently.
Yeah. So you talked about let me veer a little bit. You talked about your worked in radio. You've worked in all kinds of media
Yeah.
based things and had success with those things. And so music is a big part of your life, I would say, right?
It is.
What is your connection with music? Where did it start? Where did your love for music?
Oh gosh.
Because you sing.
I retired. I have not sang in a long time.
But you sing. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that you're actively singing.
Yeah, I retired on it. Yeah, I gave that up. But my dad was.
No, we're not going to deflect. That's not
No,
where.
I'm not.
Oh,
But
okay.
my love for
This is your connection.
music,
Okay.
my love for music
Okay.
started, as a kid. Like
Okay.
my parents have always been, like my mother would always say, yeah, we would drag her with us if we went to a big show. They called them big shows back in the day.
Yeah.
And so,
That's funny.
yeah, they always took me everywhere they went.
Mhm.
And so that caused me to, but even then, like my father being a minister with me growing up, we still did what some would be like, really? Yes,
Yeah.
we did the Isley Brothers, we did the Temps,
Yeah.
and they would take me with them. And at that time, my dad was also a member of Inspirational Youth Fellowship Choir with Malcolm Speed. So they were a recording group,
Yeah.
had albums out. We were touring.
Yeah.
So as a little bitty thing,
Yeah.
I was touring with my dad, and
Yeah.
it wasn't until I got older I realized the significance of that.
Yeah.
And then my
Yeah.
mother's just a lover of music herself, and so
Good.
for me, yeah, just I'm just a sucker for the music. But even when you strip off the vocals and you just can follow the tempo and the beat, like I love to strip off the layers. I am, and I have for many, I would say probably all my life, I'm just fascinated by background singers. Like they carry and they fill in, they color in the spaces to make it the experience that it is. And so I have a heart for background. And so yes, I'll be in the car still,
Yeah.
But no, you're the singer.
No.
But yeah, that's my thing with music. And yeah, I absolutely love it. Yeah.
How much of that is connected to kind of, you mentioned before we started talking on here, you having an outlet, and so how much of music or just any type of artistic creative, because you're a creator,
yeah, I own that now. Yeah,
you should.
I do.
You should. I think it's I feel like it's you don't really realize how much of a creative you are until maybe somebody points it out to you. And so how much of that is connected to outlet and things like that? This
is me.
Painting.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. This is what I do when I need to escape.
Yeah.
It's either this or like right now I'm working on a denim jacket. I'm fraying a denim jacket. Like, yeah. So it's
why is that important? I guess that's what I want to
Well, so for me, one of the things I had to wrap my mind, another thing I had to wrap my mind around was everyone pushing me to follow my father's footsteps. And the pressure of that caused me to not want to deal with any of it. Dr. Charles M. Roach Legacy Center here in North County in St. Louis, Missouri. And so him being a first, us being a first family, we get a chance to be able to present a little family wall they blessed us with. And I have to shout out the pastor, Pastor Michael Cleveland and Mrs. Audra Cleveland, who have taken the reins and they're moving forward with the ministry. So blessings to them. But man, thank you so much for keeping the legacy of my dad, my heartbeat, alive. And so here you can see my little peanut head up here with the family and my mom, Lady D over here. And then there's some awards that were given out to my father and also to the church. And so this is us. This is still us, I should say. And love them to death. Absolutely love them to death. So I'm just now coming back around.
Oh my goodness.
In a sense to where I am his legacy and his legacy will continue even without me.
Yeah.
However, I'm not called to be a pastor in the same form that he was.
Yeah.
So when I'm on the microphone, whether that's in a boardroom, a studio, a stage, that's ministry for me. That's how I pastor and lead.
Yeah.
Finally, it took me, can't tell you all how long. No. But it took me a long time to get to that point, to understand that. And now understanding that's who I am no matter where I show up. But there's this very structured part of me, but there's this very loose, wild, curious, as I said, part of me. So I now understand having this dual role is okay. I don't have to pick a thing and work it till I wear it out. No. So that's why I'm in higher ed. It gives me the challenge of being, of the challenges that I love to solve and be a part of, as well as the structure. But my creative side, whether that's the music, whether that's the other levels of outlets of art, it's there. Because my mom's sister asked me a couple of years ago, and she's like, I'm your number one fan. I'm your manager for real. And so I'm like, okay. She says, and you're doing so many great things. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
When are you gonna pick one though, and like really do one of the things? And I had thought about it, and I called her back. And I'm learning to take meta moments. Meta moments are where you take a deep breath and you pause for a moment before responding.
That's good.
So it was an extended meta moment because I called her back and I said, I did choose. I thought about what you said. I did choose. She's like, oh, what you decide? All of it. So I'm like, I think we've been so conditioned because you had a chance to watch a little bit of another project, another creative side that I'm working on. And you heard my mother, like, she'd been somewhere 30 something years. She loved it. She rocked it out, retired, did something else, but still, that's not how that's not how it is. Yeah. And so I'm like, you can do whatever you want to do. And you can do it. But my thing is, with all of that, this smorgasbord of things, to me, it just shows that God, I feel like I'm, hate to, make this so spiritual, but the talents. Some of us have one, some of us have two, some of us, and then, but my thing is, I don't want when that day comes to say, there's no return on your investment in me. So going back to the now, I'm like, okay, how do I take this academic side and this creative side and work it now? Because I have a whole bunch of ideas, but bring them in. Don't be out here just wilding out. But how do I
That's so good.
how do I bring some now into some of these
Yeah.
things?
Yeah.
Because the never, it was kind of like almost like there was more faith and trust in the never. Like, oh, I'll never get around to that.
Mm-hmm. It's
We
easier.
get, oh my
It's so
God.
easy just to.
But when you can't go to sleep because you're thinking about, I wonder if.
You just hit it right there. You just hit it right there.
If you can't go to sleep
Mm.
and have a solid night's sleep because it is tugging at you
Mm-hmm.
and somebody's talking to you and you like, I wonder if.
You're saying something.
Or what has happened to me very recent, one thing I put off and somebody said okay to help me with this project. And I was like, maybe nobody's gonna really support that.
Right.
Somebody else is doing the same thing at the exact same spot with the exact same person, 100% covered and sponsored. That could have been me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I never did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now somebody else gets to now it.
Yeah.
And I'm invited. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
So God is showing me like this could have been you.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. I think the me versus me, it's been a theme of all these conversations I've had at this point, but it comes up in every single one.
Really?
Yeah, literally. It's the underlining theme to all of these conversations that I've had so far. Me versus me. And I think that's really what it is most of the time. When it really should be us putting God versus whatever.
Yeah.
But we're fighting ourselves, our own internal. First of all, let's start with fighting our own fears, fighting our insecurities, fighting our past expectations. You just talked about your aunt and like how she kind of like, you gotta figure something out.
But that would have frazzled me had it been even probably 3 years before. I'm talking about 3 years ago. Yeah. That would have frazzled me.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to, that's what I said, I had this side, I had that side, but you should be doing what your dad doing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
who says?
But I separated myself from a lot of stuff to get better clarity. Yeah. Not even clarity, to hear. Yeah. And then also to get the nerve. So I went on a trip recently to South America and stayed for 30 days.
That's not a trip.
I went to go live.
She's pouring champagne right now, y'all. I went on a trip for 30 days. That's not a trip.
I went and lived in Colombia for 30 days. And what's crazy, I thought I was going for vacation. Yeah. The moment I landed in my place, rented out a place, and I knew it was for me to get settled in some things, to be restored within myself, but also with some things. I wrote I'm almost through a whole book that I wrote from being there, which is based off a speech that people were asking me for a copy of, and I just held on. I was like, I was going to see. More came to me from that, so that working on that. But man, to understand, to be able to be in a place that's unfamiliar, you don't know the language, not fluently, you don't know anybody there, but you're gonna stay in this place 30 days, or you're gonna get out and explore. Yeah. And I realized how I needed to learn to even trust myself more. I realized how I was very passive in some areas of life that I needed to be assertive. Yeah. Because it was just so visual. Yeah. And then there's this, it's called macaw. This is birds that are red, yellow, and blue, and they're absolutely just beautiful. So outside my window, because you have these windows, because we didn't have air, because it's that beautiful. The weather is for the whole 30 days. Yeah. But I had the windows open. And the first day I get there, it's one macaw on this tree outside my window. And then the next day it was 5. And then for the whole week, it was 5 of them. And they came early in the morning before 6. And they came every night between 5:45 and 6:15. Those 5, I said, what does 5 mean? Courage, bravery, and curiosity. I was like, what? And they would be my mom, because I had surprised my mom and took her with me. And we learned
Oh my God.
when you could hear them singing,
Yeah.
we knew, even if we were in another room and I would go to the window and they would be out there. I was like, talk about now. Clarity. So now I challenge everybody. I'm like, I don't care. You may not be in a position to go somewhere for 30 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can go, I say, ask somebody to can I stay at your house overnight? Just go to
A different. Okay. Oh my goodness.
or go to
It matters.
Airbnb, or like do the house swap, or to have someone in your family. Hey, I just want to stay in your lower level for the weekend. I'm really trying to just kind of purge and just kind of reflect. So and meditate. Can you give me permission to stay in your space? But if I can ask that you not interrupt me too often, or I will come up like there's ways around getting to the point to where it's like, oh, I don't have any money. It's not about the money. It's not about where. It's just to be able to pull yourself out of what is common and the distractions. Because sometimes you can chill at home and get clarity. Yes, you can. But I have never experienced hearing so clearly.
Wow.
Being in an unfamiliar space, but also not just hearing clearly, seeing who I was. And what I realized also, I needed to be more honest with myself.
What do you mean by that?
So there are some things, oh, do you want, like, what do you want? Well, to God be the glory. I just want, him to give me his, some good thing. No.
Yes, cut it out.
Our God is specific.
That's so real. That's real.
But many of us, to me, the enemy is just busy. No, you need to get clear on what you want and be honest with it. It is not about, oh,
God, if I say this, that means I'm not, or I'm thinking about myself.
Like, you can't, because I tell people you can't lead if you've not been in a certain spaces and you don't have receipts. For coming through those situations. Just like you can't give what you don't have.
Yeah.
So it is not, my thing is, it's not about, and I'm not even talking about material stuff. I'm talking about, but yeah, at the same time, there may be a need for some material things for you to get some other things done. Like you need a car so you can get, to point A to B, or, in some cases.
Right.
But I'm talking about like, being able to be honest, God, help me be honest first with myself. So if you, when you, and then to be ready to not be passive. So if you tell me like, hey, what is it that you want to do? And I'm like, you know what? I want to, I like doing the podcast. I like doing the radio, but no, I want to be able.
This is what I want to do.
And be clear.
This is what I want to do. Yeah.
But so my thing is, so we pray, we ask people things, then we start hating on people who making movement. It's not about the other people. It's about
us.
You're not ready to be honest yet.
And we talk ourselves out of it. In the same, I've done it so many times where like I've prayed about something. Like, we get those confident moments where like, all right, God, here it is. You said, make it plain. So this is what I want to do. This is what I envision, blah, blah, blah. And then the first thing that happens is I think about, okay, I just prayed for all these things that to me would be like this great situation. I start immediately thinking about like, there's going to be, what are going to be the challenges with that?
Yeah.
What are going to be the struggles that come along with that? What amount of work?
But that's where the beauty is.
Yes, it is.
And the failure.
It is.
And I'm learning, and that was one of the things.
Trying to calculate it is the problem. You're trying to calculate it, and he's already paid the cost. Like, you just got to be willing.
Yeah.
That's good.
And be okay. Again, that relationship with ourselves, about honesty, our relationship when it comes to what failure means. Failure does not mean that that you now have to walk away from it or it didn't work out. No, because there's going to be something that's learned.
Yeah.
There will be something learned, something that's useful, something that actually will probably propel you into what you really need and what you want. because we start off with, you know, this idea and this concept, but it evolves over time. No different than you started off doing your show doing what? Food, right?
Yeah, the non-chef.
Now
Lord.
the non-chef, but the non-chef now having non-conversations just get started. You already have everything in these hands and this heart and this mind. He's giving you a mind. He's giving you a heart. He's giving you a mouth. He's giving you abilities, no matter how limited you may think they are. You've got more than you need.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's just, I mean, it's so much there. So much there. Y'all see what I'm talking about? This is she totally took over this conversation. Nah, just playing. This is really good. This is really good. So let's do this because we could sit here all day and talk about all the things. But I want you to also share, like, what are some of the things that you have coming up that you're working on and all that good stuff.
So let's see. I am finally shifting from radio to a podcast. So we're trying to get things set up because it's a different audience. I didn't realize that. So we're going to make that shift in the next coming few months.
Okay.
They're talked about the book. There's a book, and then I saw her and saw small accountable wonders is what gets us to the place of success. And that's something that I've learned, and that has been a part of my journey. So without going too deep into that, that'll be coming. The re-release of my poetry book, Uprooted, that's going through the process of getting the cover and stuff made for that. I never took that seriously. It was just something that I did, but as someone said, you're not realizing how all those things connect, and it's all part of the puzzle. So I'm like, well, let's re-release it. So good. So that's coming. Wrapping up my doctorate program. I'm so excited because I'm over that. I'm so over school. I feel you. Let's see what else. Documentary regarding women of color, specifically African American women in the workplace. That's coming up. So we've got 2 recorded out of the 5 episodes. Okay. And the crazy thing is, it's all these things are in alignment. Yeah. It's all the same work, different platforms. Yeah. That's good. So that's good.
I'm a fan. I'm surely a fan. Well, but I'm a fan of the singing more than anything, and you don't do that anymore. So.
Are you serious? Okay.
So hopefully at some point she'll be like talking about this new music that she'll be.
We have to do a duet then.
Come on.
We can do a jazz something.
Why is that?
Or neo-ish.
Something fused.
Let's do it.
No, not just one thing. You said all the things. Right?
Let's
so
check.
Come on. All right.